Thank you for coming today. As the educators, some elected officials, and concerned community members of Peoria County want to bring urgent attention to the issue of attendance as we start the 2021 school year. Last year was really hard on all of us. This year is going to present its own set of challenges, but one thing remains. Peoria County students need the opportunity to learn. And you must attend today to achieve tomorrow. We are asking our Peoria County families to rebound with attendance. A few of our speakers today will highlight some difficult data points that we are wrestling with as school leaders. Actually, the word that comes to mind is unprecedented, some of these numbers. One simple fact is that overall enrollment in Peoria County schools fell 944 total students from 2019 to 2020, with the new number for last school year coming soon. You will hear more data points from our speakers. Let me just say this, as the regional superintendent for Peoria County Schools, your Peoria County schools are prepared, they are safe, and they are ready. And they will welcome each family back to learning face-to-face. We can support your students' growth and learning, but only if we get them back in school. So come, let's rebound with attendance, Peoria. And so before I pass on the microphone to our speakers today, please know that we are launching a massive social media campaign. I will showcase one of those videos done with our local basketball stars and legends because I'm a sports person, and so rebound means one thing to me. So I would like to feature one of the videos that you will see on social media.
This is it. Let's go. Come on, Peoria. Rebound with us. It was a tough year on all of us. You got to attend today to achieve tomorrow. Be present, be in your seats, be in school, and be on time. Come on, Peoria. Rebound with us.
Isn't that spectacular? I have to tell Marcellus, we don't want to lose you to Hollywood. So please stay here and all that you're doing for our community. But I have several series of videos featuring basketball coaches in the Peoria area to rebound with attendance. It's a national campaign. Today you're going to hear from Trudy Schaffner, the Director of Student Services for my office, the Peoria County Regional Office of Education, Dr. Kherat from Peoria Public Schools, Dr. Lisa Weaver from Pleasant Hill School District, and Ernestine Jackson on behalf of the NAACP. So to kick us off, we have Trudy Schaffner from the Regional Office of Education.
Good morning. As Beth said, my name is Trudy Schaffner. I'm the Director of School Support Services at the Regional Office of Education. My team and I provide support services for truant and homeless students for all of the 18 school districts in Peoria County. We partner with schools to monitor and support students who struggle with chronic absenteeism through a program called Project Target. Last school year, over 450 students were referred to our program. Not only is this an increase in the number of referrals referred to our program, but on average, the students missed more days of school last year than in any other school year. In fact, 60% of the students referred to our program and receiving services missed over 45 days of school. That represents an entire quarter of school days of instruction or an entire grading period of missed instruction. We know when students miss that many days of school, they struggle to meet the same standards as their peers who received instruction every day. But there is good news. A majority of the students who were part of our program and received intervention services made improvements in their attendance. The first step in our intervention process is for our caseworkers to do a home visit. We met with and listened to hundreds of families last year. And what we learned is that parents and guardians and grandparents want their children to achieve and to learn. But to do that, we need the students in school for in-person instruction. We know that when children are in school and attending regularly, they can succeed. We want everyone, parents, neighbors, friends, and the students to know that this year is a fresh start. We want to rebound with attendance and get the kids back in school and back in the game. And my team is here to help. We have already begun home visits and checking in on families who may need extra support. In the past, my team has supplied backpacks, school supplies, masks, uniforms, warm coats and cold weather items in the winter, bus passes, laundry detergent, and so much more. We have given students alarm clocks to wake up in the morning and made charts for students to make their mornings successful. We've connected families to food resources, counseling services, health services. Whatever the barrier is for your child to be in school, we want to remove it. And if we can't, we'll connect you to those resources that can. Because we know if students are here today, they can achieve tomorrow.
All right, thank you, Trudy. As you can see, we take a case management approach when it comes to supporting families and getting back in school, and that we're not out to give tickets or to play gotcha. We want to get your family what they need to get your student back in school. And one of the districts that we support is Peoria Public Schools. And so next we'll hear from Dr. Sharon Kherat.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Education and staff of Peoria Public Schools, I would say I'm really happy that we're here today, and thank you so much, Beth, for putting a focus on attendance. It's very, very, very important. But when you think about what we experienced last year, just think about it. Last year at this time, we were talking about remote learning, right? And now we're talking about in-person learning in a safe environment. So that's the good news. And so I've been looking at our numbers, and actually I see my friends Cheryl and Tom out there who's working on attendance. They were attendance champion for the district for the last 7 years with me, and we talk about if the kids aren't there at school, we cannot impact them. And I was looking, Beth, I was looking at our numbers yesterday and noticed that we're still in need of about 400 kindergarteners. And during COVID, our younger kids, our K-1 students, suffered significantly in the sense that they were not connected. So we do want parents, get them registered. Do not wait until the first day of school, which will be August 18th, or after Labor Day. Let's get them in the system right now, along with all of the shots and physicals that's necessary. So during last year, we noticed we had a 4.3 decline in terms of our attendance. But one of the things we've done at Peoria Public Schools, attendance have been a huge focus for us for many, many, many years. My seventh year, we've focused on attendance. For example, we're getting ready to implement our Because We Care campaign that every school building, the principal and staff, they go out in the neighborhoods and just get kids and families excited about coming back to school, registering for school. So we've implemented quite a bit of strategies. Because We Care, you'll be seeing us, I believe, next week with yellow shirts. And so we'll be out in the neighborhoods, and I'll be out there as well. And a couple of other things that we've done. We've invested a lot because we, again, as I said, we realize if the children are not in class and in the buildings, we cannot impact them. We've hired some parent navigators to, again, continue to work with our families, realizing that, a lot of our families and a lot of us have really suffered during COVID, and we have been impacted, whether it's basic needs and those sorts of things. So thinking of enrolling kids may not necessarily be a priority. So our navigators and those supports are able to help parents navigate through life's challenges so that we can assist and ensure that the children are in school. So PPS is doing a lot of that. And I'm also proud to say we have a number of partners, Children's Home, Family Corps, Elite, and Elite did about 500 home visits during that COVID period last year to ensure the wellness of our kids and families were doing well. They had what they needed. They had their laptops. They had connectivity. And so I'm proud of that. And then Family Corps made over 7,000 contacts, attendance contacts to families, ensuring that kids were engaged, they were logged on. And so we'll continue to do that. Parent University, our parent academies. So we've invested a lot in working with families to get children in school. And so I'm excited about the strategies that we're utilizing. They're working, but the K1 numbers, one of the things I've noticed, they're coming in slower than normal. And so parents, especially the younger ones, kindergartners, I'm looking to see, I'm missing about 400 kindergarten kids. So I would like to see them enroll. Please enroll them and enroll them today. And if they need anything, go to your schools. The schools, your principals are back from vacation, and they're here to help. So, or call my office, 672-6512, and we can provide guidance around registration. So thank you for focusing on attendance. It's the first step to school reform, to school improvement, and I'm really proud of all of the efforts that Peoria Public School is implementing to work with families and students as well. So thank you again, Ms. Derry.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kherat. She highlights an important piece from the research that coming on the first day truly matters. Getting in the routine, being there in the first day, being a part of that classroom is significant. It's important. So let's get there and let's be there on the first day. Okay, next, attendance is not a Peoria Public Schools issue. It's a Peoria County issue. So talking on behalf of the superintendents in Peoria County, I've invited Dr. Lisa Weaver to share some thoughts about attendance in the county as well.
Good morning. As Beth said, my name is Lisa Weaver, and I am the superintendent, the proud superintendent at Pleasant Hill District 69. Many of you don't know, we are the gem on the hill in the south side of Peoria, and we are one of 8 districts that feeds into Limestone Community High School. And I had the privilege of educating 200 students last year in Peoria County. As a district superintendent, I can easily say that last year was one of the most challenging years. It was tough on both students, families, and staff. Now, we learned many positive lessons throughout the pandemic, but there were also some struggles. Now, the struggles happened with academics, with physical health, along with mental health, and primarily attendance. And that's why we're here today, to talk to you about that. So the way forward is together. And we can do that by rebounding with attendance. Now, we know that you can only learn if you are present and in the classroom. And we want everyone to be in school on the very first day. Now, I think that will start the year off on the right foot, and it'll get our students back into that consistent routine. And we know that's key. And that can put us on the road to recovery. So our specific plan at Pleasant Hill is to ensure that we identify each and every student in our district. Now, we have a tight-knit community because, as I said, we just served 200 students. And we'll be able to easily identify these students because, as I said, we have that tight-knit community and we can spread the news through word of mouth. We were recently able to hire a full-time counselor with our federal dollars. And she, along with the administration, will be able to assist in the identification of students for enrollment, and then we will be able to work consistently to get those students in school and stay in school throughout the year. We'll, throughout the year, also continue to make home visits, and I know that's one of the things that Trudy had focused on as well. Home visits are key to education and bridging that gap and that communication between home and school. So I do wish all my colleagues, fellow staff, and students a successful school year. Thank you again to Beth and the ROE for highlighting the attendance focus. And let's rebound together with attendance this year.
Thank you. Our last speaker today, if you would like to come join me at the podium. On behalf of the NAACP, we have Ernestine Jackson joining us to make a few comments. Attendance is definitely an equity issue. Everyone needs the opportunity to achieve, and one way to do that is being in school. So I am honored to invite Ernestine up to the podium. Welcome, and thank you so much for coming to share your thoughts.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. That's part of getting old, but it's okay. It's okay, I'm still here. Good morning. I'm Ernestine Jackson. I'm the chair of the Education Committee for the NAACP. And most of you know me and know how I love children, love to be around them, and want them to grow and just be everything they need to be. That's why I keep my fingers on the school district and our children. The NAACP is here just to say several things. We feel that it's important for students to begin school year in person. We think the most important part of children is to have them engage face to face with their teachers. If you talk to me, I can tell you all of my teachers, and I went to District 150, that made an impact on my life, even down to saying, when I grow up, I'm gonna wear clothes just like her. And that was Mrs. Patterson at Greeley School. She always looked spiffy, and I said that in her class. But she made an impact, not only my education, but also on how I will look as an adult. So kids are looking at everything in their learning, and they need to be in school and learning. And as the NAACP, we think it's important that that happens. Establishing teacher and student peer and family trust, class community and routines at the beginning of the school year is crucial for student success. I am pleased that masks are required for everyone, and that should not be an exception. I'm pleased with that. With the increases of COVID and Delta variant and whatever comes up, because we'll see something else coming up soon. The district has to assure safest ways to deal with those issues and educate our children and make adjustments as needed. My philosophy is we have an outstanding leadership team in this district, and they can shift and move however they feel that it needs to be. So we should rely on those people that are in leadership, that as changes come, and there will be changes, and we're not going to grumble and worry about whether they made the right decision or not. We're going to believe that their decisions are good decisions. I do think children need to be in person. I keep saying that as much as possible to get instruction. They need to have the best access their individual needs coming from the past year. Filling the learning gaps must be done in person. I keep saying that, don't I? CDC guidelines will pretty much dictate how the year will progress. We know that a lot of times we don't have the ability to do what we want to do because people on high make decisions for us. And so I encourage teachers, I encourage parents, guardians, that when changes are made, understand they're being made because a lot of times somebody else told us we had to do it. And keep in mind that we have to do that. And so I would just end by saying, I'm so glad we have the leadership we have in this district. I'm so glad that our teachers are ready to go, that our children are excited about starting back to school, and no matter what happens, we're going to do everything possible that's best for children. And I thank you this morning, because I can keep on talking, so I won't, about my belief and my feelings about learning and encouraging our students and putting them in a position to succeed. And that's what the NAACP wants to do. We are your hands. We are your feet. And we got people with my committee that are ready to go to do things that we can do to assist you.
I'm so glad that Reverend Hightower sent you on his behalf. Thank you very much, Mrs. Jackson. And I am a teacher because of my second grade teacher, Mrs. Richards, Dunlap Grade School, and so I firmly believe that. Let me end by saying the formal part of the press conference is the Peoria Regional Office of Education, our mission is service. So if you have a family in need, if you have a student that is struggling, contact us. We will put you in connection with what kinds of services, programs, anything you need to get your student back in school, because we need to rebound with attendance in our new school year. So with that, I will open up the floor to questions, and if Trudy and Dr. Kherat and Lisa, if you all would like to join us up here, what questions do you have?
After two very odd school years, one school year pretty much ending in March, last year, especially for PBS, a lot of distance learning where kids kind of fell behind. How important is it for kids to be in the classroom to get caught back up on everything that they have missed these past couple of schools?
The word in education is interventions. And we need you present and attending every day so we can figure out and meet you where you're at and move you forward and accelerate your learning to get you where you need to be. But for specifics, I'll let, if Dr. Kherat, you want to address that?
Yeah, great. You did a great job, and I think Ms. Jackson also referenced it as well. We're excited. This is a great year for Peoria Public Schools. Every classroom will have a qualified teacher, and that's a first in a long time. So in terms of the learning repair, we call it learning repair because there were some losses during the pandemic. We ran a nice, robust summer school program with about 2,000 children involved, but we have to continue the work. So it's very important our teachers are excited. They've been coming in all throughout the summer, receiving training for their new curriculum, picking up their new textbooks. So they're excited, so they want the kids to be there as well. So I know our parents will step up. I was really proud of our parents. We asked them to do a lot of things that they were not trained to do or they were really not supposed to be doing, but they did it anyway. And so it's time for them to take the next step and get the kids registered, and we'll do the rest. So yeah, there's a lot to do, and we have a lot of plans. Our strategic plan, I could go on and on as well. Our number one strategy is personalized learning. We'll have individualized learning plans. So we'll work with the kids where they are, skills-based, interest-based. So I'm very, very excited. We have a great year planned for our kids. So get them out, especially the kindergartners.
And even maybe Dr. Khan or even from Clinton, are you worried that there's going to be some more homeschool kids that you won't be able to reach out to after the governor's mandate yesterday, where some parents will still, no matter what, just refuse to send their kids to a school that requires masks?
I'll take that quickly while she's coming up. Dr. Weaver's coming up. We're ready for them too. I'm a big believer in choice. During COVID, our largest school was our online school with 1,600 kids. And after that, it was very clear, though, that the supermajority wanted the kids to experience in person. Our kids wanted that in-person experience. But we do have a small segment of our population that we have 200 kids who will be online. And that's okay because we have online curriculum, we have online support. So when we talk about reimagining education, we need to be ready for everybody, no matter the platform or the medium.
At this point in time, we don't have any students that are planning to engage in remote learning experiences, but as Dr. Kherat said, we will be prepared if we do need to make those remote learning plans for the medically fragile. We have experienced some that have moved out of state, some families that have moved out of state. So our enrollment is down right now by about 45 students. So as Trudy said, we will continue to go throughout our community and go door to door and ensure that every single student is registered that is living within our community, and just ensure that we have every student in our registered in our school district on day one. And as I said, our counselor and administration will help with that process. So again, we can't control who's moving in and out of state, but we will ensure that we provide all the resources necessary to give them a quality education.
How much of last year's absenteeism issue can be attributed to connectivity or access issues that were associated with remote learning and that might not necessarily be an issue this year with most students in person?
Before I turn this over to Trudy, because I'd love you to give a couple anecdotals about what you found when you knocked on some doors, I will say this. Our school districts went above and beyond to make sure there was a device in every hand, whether that was a Chromebook or something else. We were getting hotspots. We were doing everything humanly possible to connect children to a device when we were having to do remote learning. But I'd like Trudy to give you just the anecdotal about, some children that were trying to pool their resources.
Sure. So yes, understanding connectivity issues were kind of an equity, also showed us where that equity gap was. We did have families that got very resourceful. I would show up sometimes in an apartment complex and look for one family in an apartment, and they would say, "Oh, I'm here, but my kids are all down at that apartment. There are 8 kids trying to use the hotspot there." And so we did see that. A lot of times, we were able to bridge that gap, go back to the school, ask for more resources, trade in. I took a lot of devices back to schools and traded them in, made sure that they had a working device. But the schools were really great, and even the companies that supplied some internet were great to work with, really worked with families. It's just getting that out there and meeting those people and being able to connect them with the right service.
Because what you have to be careful of is don't have a device, don't have the internet, go to this website. So you have to get people talking to people and getting that message out there.
When you start an initiative like this will be for some of the superintendents as well, how do you measure the success of this program? What are the goals? Obviously there are quantitative data points you can look at, numbers, but are there qualitative, qualities as well to measure the success?
Attendance is actually one of the things we can measure the best. And so we will definitely be tracking attendance numbers. We have enrollment reports that are due in September, and those get turned into my office to calculate the county school facility sales tax. So we will be monitoring those numbers. You can't always attribute attendance specifically to it was COVID related. There could be multiple factors. However, it's just of such volume this year that we wanted to address it with this countywide campaign. That's a good question. Our goal is to improve attendance from where it was last year. So whether we can hit pre-COVID numbers is a different question. So those are metrics we certainly will be looking at, though.
You just talked about, just limiting COVID disruptions this year. We know that, some children still can't be vaccinated. So what do you have to say to parents that may be concerned about, their child being back in the classroom as we sort of push for them, for this face-to-face learning? What do we do to kind of limit those disruptions in the classroom?
Absolutely. So Monica Hendrickson and I have talked on the phone every day this week. We spoke this morning, and she again reiterated and wanted me to share today our #1 strategy is vaccination. If you're eligible, please get the vaccine. That's our first mitigating strategy. After that, there are multiple layers that we're going to use in schools to mitigate COVID, especially the Delta variant, which is disproportionately impacting children. So until the vaccine is available for children under the age of 12, we will be universally masking. We will do social distancing to the best of our abilities. But we want those children in school. So we're going to use every tool in our toolkit, every tool to keep them safe and to keep them in the building. And as Monica has told me many, many times, as things ebb and flow, keeping our eye on the data, then we will adjust policies as we need to. But we are ready for the beginning of the school year.
What are some of the strategies to get those 400 kindergartners registered in the school? Because you're looking at almost 15 to 20 classrooms equivalent of kids that are not registered.
Yeah, thank you. We talk a lot about that. One of the things with our population, sometimes they just wait last minute, right? And so we're trying to get them earlier. We've talked about taking over a bus. We've talked about, you've seen our buses around with signs, advertisements. So we've talked about that. We've done some calls to families. We've done a lot of home visits. We have parades. We have the Because We Care campaign that I referenced with and that's the mastermind of Dr. Simpson and Mrs. San Philip, and they're here today. There were attendance gurus for Peoria County and a lot of support for Peoria Public Schools. That's a huge one. So it's personalized. You're knocking on doors. You're educating parents. You're saying, hey, don't forget, it's, school starts on the 18th, but we definitely need you to register way before then. Because if not, then the first day of school, you'll have to stand in line, a long line. Let's avoid that. And if they're registered, then they go straight to their classrooms. They'll know their teachers and so forth. So we have a number of strategies that we're utilizing right now. Social media and a variety, a lot more. But the Because We Care campaign and advertisements, actually we've done some work with Gary Moore as well for for that region. And so, yes, it's fun coming up with creating innovative strategies to reach our parents in a different way. So yeah, we really actually enjoy that as well. That's the work that we do.
I wanted to add one thing to that. The OSF Caravan has been going into neighborhoods. The medical clinics are open in schools because we've been talking a lot about the shot for COVID, but there's a lot of other shots that are required to go to kindergarten, and we need first day compliance. And so we have been working on that aspect as well. So I wanted to bring that up too.
Good point.
Before yesterday, we saw a handful of districts, some districts that seemed pretty adamant about keeping the masks as optional. And obviously now the governor has made the change. What possible repercussions could districts face if they don't adhere to what Governor Pritzker instituted yesterday?
One of the reasons I was speaking with Monica this morning was that she sent out a memo asking schools for copies of their plans as they've been adjusted, or a communication that would go out to parents about the new universal masking mandate. And from there, there's some quarantine implications and about strategies that will be able to be utilized out in the district if they have universal masking or if they don't. So we communicated some of those things, but that is a seat of authority that's with the governor and the local health departments. And as schools, we have policy authority. So in this one, that is the governor and the local health department.
Will there be vaccine clinics at schools for kids that are of age to get the vaccine?
Oh my goodness, Dr. Kherat's been running clinic after clinic after clinic.
Will that continue throughout the school year?
Yes, yes. And we're hoping that the vaccine will become available for 12 and under very soon. And when that happens, we'll have that conversation as well.
What outreach was done over the summer in terms of that? I know we talked about it in April or so, and there was a couple hundred vaccinated. What have you guys been able to do through the summer, and how do you ramp that back up?
Did you want to comment on that?
We did. We're working year round, and so we had a vaccination site at Peoria High a couple of weeks ago. A number of individuals were vaccinated. Harrison was a vaccinated site. Richwoods will be a lot of our buildings are vaccination sites. When was it? The night before, Night Out Against Crime, I think I went to about 7 or 8 of those neighborhoods, and many of them also provided vaccination, and we worked with them as well. So we work very closely with Monica and Beth, very, very, very closely. And we took the lead. Peoria Public Schools took the lead in terms of the universal masking. And I was told the governor gave us a shout out yesterday at his opening. So we believe in the importance of vaccination, and we will continue to educate our families. It's slowly coming in, but I'm pleased though. People are really seeing the importance and the seriousness of not being vaccinated, and so they are coming around. But it does take some time and communication and education, and I think trust as well. But it's a work in progress, but moving in the right direction.
Of course, and you say it is a work in progress. Do you have a goal in mind by the end of the year, or any kind of things like that in terms of vaccinated population?
Yeah. So the goal for us is just to really open up our buildings and provide access. We're not mandating evidence of that sort of thing. So we don't want to be that intrusive, and we'll continue to open up our sites and provide opportunities for students and families to have access to the vaccination.
Anything else? I want to thank my fellow elected officials, concerned community members, staff, and those of you that joined us today, because this is all hands on deck to get our kids back in school this year. Very much appreciated. So thank you for coming.